Geno, the founder and leader of the Imagined Order, the father of the Imagined in the Order, who we thought was defeated by the Imagined and began repairing himself throughout the Omniverse, has returned. That's right, Geno has finally returned, and if any of you have forgotten who Geno is, don't worry, I'll give you a huge refresher of who Geno is. So, as you know, Geno is the main antagonist of the Fortnite storyline. He's even the founder and leader of a once powerful faction known as the Imagined Order, who he operates in the shadows. And none of us know what Geno looked like for a very long time because he was hiding in the shadows. The only bits and pieces that we know about Geno's backstory was that he left his home reality and began exploring the Omniverse, until he stumbled across the Zero Point on Reality Zero of the Chapter 1 island. He then began altering the Zero Point, which is a powerful artifact created by the leftover energy of the Big Bang, which granted him immortality. And Geno has lived for a very long time, and his pursuit of a perfect reality has begun. He then recruited a lot of people from different realities and had them to join the Imagined Order, which includes Sloane, Midas, Jules, Dasha, Zadie, the Singularity, and of course, Jones. He even started capturing people from different realities and forced them to face each other in a game of Battle Royale to see who will come out on top. But Geno's search for a perfect world has led to his defeat, as he is the one who created his arch enemies known as the Seven, which includes the Foundation, the Imagined, the Order, the Origin, the Scientists, the Visitor Reality Zero, including the Paradigm, who vowed to free the Zero Point from Geno's tyranny once and for all. But that's not all, as Jones even betrays the Imagined Order and sides with the Seven and helped them to free the Zero Point. He even made a deal with the Foundation to help him to find Geno, which Geno wasn't very happy of. And in Chapter 2, Season 7 Invasion, we get a glimpse to see what Geno looked like from Sloane's loading screen. So we saw a glimpse of what Geno looked like. Then we flash forward to Chapter 3 Season 2 Resistance in the Fortnite Marvel Zero War comics. And this is where things get interesting. According to the Imagined, it is revealed that her and her sister, the Order, are actually bioengineered creations made by Geno. What's more is that they are actually Geno's daughters. It was even revealed by the Imagined that Geno forced her and her sister, the Order, to face against each other in a battle royale to see who will come out on top. Unfortunately, neither the Imagined and the Order had escaped the loop, which they are now trapped in. And Geno abandoned his daughters and replaced them with snapshot variants of them, which is very messed up. And during the final battle against the Imagined Order, Geno finally reveals himself and faces off against the Imagined and the Order, who are again his own daughters. He even faced off against Wolverine. But then, Geno was then defeated by the Imagined, who sacrificed herself and plummeted herself and her father Geno into the unstable Zero Point to put an end to Geno's tyranny once and for all. And we thought it was the end of Geno. But unfortunately, it was not, as Geno began repairing himself throughout the Omniverse, and Geno's plan to return had began. Flash forward to Chapter 4, Season 1 Oathbound, and we get more of Geno's backstory. It is revealed that Geno was once a ruler and champion of a faction known as the Oathbound, which is revealed to be the early years of the Imagined Order, which is under the care of a snapshot version of Geno known as the Ageless Champion. And throughout the story of Chapter 4, Season 1 Oathbound, it is revealed by Rift Warren Stellan that he is from a different reality, and he came to the Oathbound under the orders of a mysterious entity known as the Shapeless Man, who is actually revealed to be Geno this entire time. And Geno only appeared to Stellan in his dreams and began to alter them, letting Stellan to join the Oathbound. Because if you go back to Chapter 2, Season 7 of Sloane's loading screen, you will see a mysterious monster who appeared in her dreams, meaning that not only Stellan's dreams were altered, but also Sloane's. Having a reason why Sloane joined the Imagined Order was because Geno altered her dreams, making her to believe that what she's doing in the Imagined Order would be good for the Omniverse, which we all know that's a lie. But then throughout more of the story of Chapter 4, Season 1, Oathbound, Stellan then told us that the Shapeless Man, who is Geno, was growing impatient and wants him to activate the Riftgate, which is powered by refined kinetic ore. And according to Stellan, the Shapeless Man doesn't care of what happens to the Chapter 4 island. So Stellan begins to activate the Riftgate, and it's revealed that Amy sabotaged the Riftgate, preventing Geno from coming back, which led the Riftgate to explode, which even created a red Riftgate above the sky of the Chapter 4 island. So Geno's plan to return was interrupted, and we have not seen him since. Until now. Flash forward to Chapter 7, Season 1, Pacific Break and Breakpoint. During the situation of the Dark Voyager, planning to rebuild the Zero Point, we were greeted by an alternate version of the Visitor known as the Visitor Reality Unknown, who went out of a red rift above the sky of the Golden Coast and landed at Classified Canyon piloting the rocket, which is the same red rift back in Chapter 4, Season 1, Oathbound. He then began a conversation with the Order, even arguing with her, even mentioning the Imagined twice, saying like that the Order has begun to become reckless like her sister, that saying that the Imagined is the impetuous one, which means someone who thinks things rationally, even asking her if she learned nothing after losing her during the final battle against the Imagined Order, which is really weird, because it made us to now suspect the Visitor Reality Unknown of how does he know this knowledge of what happened to the Imagined. And when we confronted him, he just says that he found out by reading files of what happened to the original 7 in the original timeline, which is very more suspicious. But then in Chapter 7, Season 2, live event, Shattered, during the conflict against the Exalted Ice King and the Dark Voyager, who is beginning to repair the Zero Point, it is revealed that the Dark Voyager and the Exalted Ice King were fed information of the Foundation's plan and how to defeat them, meaning that Team Foundation has a mole. And after the end of the Shadow Live event, it is revealed that the mole that gave information on the Foundation's plan was the Visitor Reality Unknown, who portrays Jones. And it's revealed that the Visitor Reality Unknown is actually Geno this entire time, who pretend to be the Visitor Reality Unknown so he can earn not only our trust, but also the Foundation, Jones, Hope, including his own daughter, the Order. So after betraying Jones and kicked them off the ledge, we there are now in Chapter 7, Season 3, Runners, as Geno has begun to now use the Zero Point to try to create the perfect reality that he wants alongside with the Dark Voyager, who is revealed to be the Dark Voyager's master as well. But then Geno was then frustrated that Jones is still alive, and he's in a healing tank thanks to Hope. And now we don't know what's going to happen next during the story of Chapter 7, Season 3, Runners. So now there's only one question. Was there actually an alternate version of the 7, and how did Geno actually came back? Well, it turns out Geno's return was staring right at us this entire time. Let's take a step back to Chapter 1, Season 4 OG's Rocket event. As you know, in the Chapter 1, Season 4 OG Rocket event, we see the Visitor Reality Unknown in his rocket began to leave the OG island, as we saw a mysterious red rift butterfly begin to flap its wings very rapidly, and then it enters the Visitor Reality Unknown's rocket, turning it red. And when the rocket lifts off, we then see a red rift appear above the sky of the OG island. The same red rift that we saw back in Chapter 4, Season 1, Oathbound, including in Chapter 7, Season 1, Pacific Break and Breakpoint. And you might be wondering, how is this connected to Geno? Well, let's take it a step forward back to the Chapter 7 Season 2 Shadow Live event. As you know, a mysterious blue rift butterfly approached us and began talking to us in an ethereal voice, saying these words: "The 0 point, it knows my name. Run. Find me." So that means we were hearing a voice coming from that blue rift butterfly. So if a blue rift butterfly was able to speak, why not a red rift butterfly? So it's possible that Geno was the red rift butterfly that entered the Visit Reality Unknown's rocket. And if you know anything about Geno, he likes to alter things, like dreams. But what if alter someone's appearance? So it's possible that when Geno, as the red rift butterfly, entered the Visit Reality Unknown's rocket, he reshaped and altered his entire being to be him. That is why that Geno pretended to be the visitor, and that's how the Red Rift appeared back in Chapter 7, Season 1, because Geno altered the Visit Reality Unknown's appearance and reshaped him to be him. That's why he pretended to be the Visit Reality Unknown, to gain our trust, because the Visit Reality Unknown is now gone, which means is that the ultimate version of the Seven lost their version of the Visitor, which is pretty bad when you think about it, because that means that Geno will continue to pretend to be a Seven member from an alternate timeline. After when he reshaped and altered the original Visit Reality Unknown to be him, which again, not good. So, yeah, that's it. That's all you need to know about how Geno had returned. Where Geno pretended to be a Seven member all this time by being the Red Rift Butterfly and entering the Visit Reality Unknown's rocket, everything now falls into place. Knowing that Geno did this after not coming back in the story since Chapter 4 Season 1 really shows how much of a dangerous person Geno is. And him beginning to, well, pretend to be the Visit Reality Unknown, things are now getting bad. However, it seems that Geno's acting skills of pretending to be the Visit Reality Unknown has caught whiff of Sloan in the Singularity, who are beginning to see that the Visit Reality Unknown is acting very weird, such as talking about a perfect reality and about using power of the 0 point, including extracting 0 point energy from the sprites, something that the original Visitor never does. So, Sloan in the Singularity, I'll keep an eye on the Visit Reality Unknown to see what other weird things he will say. So, yeah. That's what's currently going on in Chapter 7, Season 3, and how Geno was able to come back after not being involved in the story for a very long time. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching this video. Comment down below what your favorite things to do in Fortnite: creativity, buying players, Fortnite Blitz, or Fortnite Reload, the soon end of Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 8 OG for the vaulting event that will soon happen next week, Fortnite Save the World, and Fortnite Reload's newest map, the Elite Stronghold. Comment down below what your favorite moments in Chapter 7 Season 3 runners, Fortnite Save the World, and Fortnite Reload's newest map, the Elite Stronghold. And comment down below what Fortnite theories you want me to discuss or debunk, and I'll gladly make videos about them. Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any videos from me, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye!